Now, if you want to build your Skool community with YouTube to get new members, generate leads, and get sales, then I'm going to share some strategies that have been working for me and things that I've noticed that work best, and probably where you want to start if you're a beginner or you've been struggling to convert your views into members. So I want to share with you a video here first, before we get started, that completely flopped, because I believe that views plus sales is obviously the best. We ideally want to be able to get the most sales possible from the most views. So we want to be able to get as many views as possible on YouTube, but we want that to convert into sales. So often with YouTube, you can get a lot of views, but it doesn't always mean sales. So if we have to choose between views and sales, then normally we're going to want to choose sales. So we're always going to want to choose sales above views. But ideally, you want views and sales. But your niche, everybody's niche is different. My niche, there's not a huge amount of views. Some videos might do well, but you have to go a bit broader to be able to get that. So take this video example here. This video completely flopped. So this video got 92 views. It got 92 views, and that was basically it. 1 subscriber, 92 views. I knew it was going to be a flop before I made it, but I wanted to make it for some of the members that were in our community that had language schools and they wanted to be able to know some strategies to grow their language schools. And I basically did it for that reason, but also I wanted to share some of that knowledge, and I want to create a few videos around that. So videos for my members, basically. However, what was interesting and what I realized was that this actually brought in members and booked 2 sales calls. So this one video with less than 100 views actually generated 2 sales calls. So this video and this small amount of views actually probably did much better and will probably bring in a lot more money than videos that get way more views. So when you know that, you start to look at your views differently, that you actually have to start being okay, potentially, about having fewer views. Because I've always noticed this, that certain videos that get less views can generate lots and lots of sales and leads for my business, and then videos that go completely viral do very little. Sure, I get the ad revenue, but I don't get very much. So knowing this and other strategies that I've been testing, we start to realize that, okay, what audiences are going to work best and what is going to convert better for my business? What is the goal of my business? So knowing that I got 2 sales calls from such a small amount, and let's say that went viral and it got 1,000 views, so 10 times that amount, it may have generated 20 sales calls for my business. So this means that this is probably the right type of content for me to be creating. So although it's not going to get views, I should probably be making more of this or more similar types of content and finding ways to get in front of more people. So the first thing I've realized after testing a number of different audiences recently, I've been doing a 30-day growth sprint, and it's given me the opportunity to test a lot more videos a lot more quickly, to get in front of a lot more audiences, to fail a lot more and a lot faster, basically, and to see what potentially works. And that's how I've realized that certain videos performed better, because I like to ask people how they found me, what videos brought them in, and I can normally see as well people that are commenting and so on. So you can find out where people are coming from. But what I've noticed is that you really need to make sure that you have a congruent message between your channel and your Skool community. So you want to make sure that you've got a clear, defined goal of what people will get. So I always suggest that you reverse engineer your Skool community and the goal and the offer that you have there, and then make congruent content that is actually going to bring people in. People want more of the same. So if you're speaking about a particular thing, so it could be, anything from how to looks max, how to improve your looks on your face and make yourself look more chiseled, and as a man, make yourself better looking. Well, if you're doing that, then your channel should be about that, and then your community should be about the next stages of looks maxing and maybe a 30-day program or something like that. So that is congruent. It's more of the same, but with a result and a goal. So if the Skool community was about looks maxing and making myself look more chiseled and better looking, but then the channel was about perfume and many other things, and it was more general sort of fashion and beauty, well, it would get some sales, but it would be a disconnect. So a lot of your views would be wasted. So yes, maybe you're going to get more views and overall with general types of content, but you're not going to make nearly as many sales. So we generally want the shortest line to success. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. And as a small channel, you can just get congruent line, know that you're going to get just a few views per video potentially, and then you're going to slowly scale that up. But those views are, if congruent, going to convert into daily members. And when I've tested this recently by changing my branding and my messaging a little bit, targeting slightly different audiences to see who aligns with what better. So I have actually changed my who, the people that I'm targeting, a number of different times to see what converts better. And when I've done this and there's been a slight disconnect or overly complicated message, so if my message has suddenly got more complicated, such as there's more things that I need to convince people of in order to take action, or more beliefs that I need to help them overcome, you'll know it when you have basically too many things. I help such and 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 such with XYZ, then maybe it's getting too complicated. If there's too many different things and your messaging can't be incredibly short, such as I help YouTubers grow with Skool, or I help school communities grow with YouTube, something clear like that, or I help elderly people become more mobile with chair yoga. A clear, defined goal, clear, defined message. Because when it's overly complicated, people don't take action. It's too confusing, so they don't take action. If there's a disconnect of message, people don't take action. So if it's then confused, they're not sure if it's for them, they don't take action. So any of this means no members. So you do not get any members. And it's been dramatic. I have actually seen, I've had days where I've been getting loads and loads of members. I've then tried a different audience, 0. And continue with that for a number of days, 0, 0, or 1. So it really is that it is night and day when you're aligned with your people. So you really need to make sure that your channel and your Skool messaging is on point, completely congruent. Do not overcomplicate it. And then number 2 is that you want to go for the low-hanging fruit. So this is essentially saying the same thing. I'm still saying keeping it simple, not worrying too much about views, but the low-hanging fruit is going very niche. We want to go hyper niche because you want to be a big fish in a small pond, especially in the beginning as a small creator, because you don't have to care about monetization. You just want to care about those small number of views. It's a tactic that a lot of affiliate marketers used to use on the YouTube platform, where they would target people in a buying mood. So if you were doing camera reviews, you would do camera reviews, the 3 best cameras for this, the best version of this, the worst ones of this. So you would target people with their buying intent, and there would only be limited amounts of that traffic, but you know that they were red hot buyers who wanted to potentially buy a camera. Therefore, if you created videos around that, that was the low-hanging fruit, and it was easier to generate affiliate sales. Now, these methods have been killed to absolute saturation. Everybody's doing it. And if you want to go make more money, you eventually do have to go a bit broader. But for the sake of what you're doing in your messaging, you want to become known. You want to become a niche authority. And this is the name of our community as well, which is completely for free. If you would like to join, I will link to that in the video description. And that will get more training on how to grow your Skool community with YouTube. But becoming a niche authority is where you become well known for one particular area. So rather than trying to become the best in a very competitive niche at the very top, you say, okay, well, I'm going to become the best at this one tiny little bit of this. So you're going to carve out one tiny piece of the bigger niche and say, that's mine. I'm going to be known for this. Everybody's going to know that I am the authority, the go-to person for this. YouTube's going to know it, and so are the people that I'm trying to target with my videos. And again, it means fewer views, but much like targeting reviews and the best of and so on for selling cameras, or trying to get affiliate income, the same result happens when we target those words, because we become the go-to person, and therefore it becomes low-hanging fruit where we are getting the most red-hot people. People are warm and they're ready to come in and ready to sign up. So we want to go for the easy views to convert. And this is normally going to be people that already know about what we're doing. They're not hard to pressure into it. We're not trying to re-educate them or anything like that. So again, at this point, in terms of a mindset point of view as a small creator or small coach or whatever it is that you're doing with your Skool community, in the beginning especially, you just need to be okay with low views. And this is a difficult pill to swallow for many of us, especially myself. I've had hundreds of thousands of views on videos on this channel. I've got many more views that I've made private on videos that I've got, 500,000 views on some of those videos, and then they're now private because I wanted to focus on just being niche. But it is a difficult pill to swallow in the sense of your ego, because we want views. Views somehow show us that we did a video and it's done really well. But we shouldn't be measuring in terms of views. We should be measuring in terms of new members and sales. So that should be the metric that we should be focusing on. So views, you need to be okay with low views and accept that this is good, as long as it's hopefully bringing the right people into your community. And then when you gain authority and you become a niche authority for your small piece of YouTube, your small piece of the niche, then we can branch out a little bit and try to pull people from the cold area, the more broad area, and slightly just overlap those broader topics into our existing videos. So again, all of the low-hanging fruit first. Forget this step 3 initially. All the low-hanging fruit, the easy stuff, become the niche authority first, and then we can start to go broader with the cold stuff, and then we can start to educate them a little bit and move them into the warm category. So now they are the low-hanging fruit that we have to nurture. But this process of nurturing will obviously take much, much longer than just going for the low-hanging fruit. But you might be able to tap into more views with this, and you'll eventually get better at moving people from the cold into the warm as your channel grows. But first you have to establish yourself as an authority, because we want to have lots of content for them to binge watch as they start to become educated. So here we educate people, and that's the process. The education process is obviously time consuming. We have to overcome a lot more limiting beliefs and a lot more questions and so on to get them into the warm pile here. But once we get them into the warm part, we want to have all the low-hanging fruit content already for them to start binge watching that as well. So then they take the next step and they become a member or a client, or they buy your products and services. But we don't want to start with this because it requires a lot more effort and a lot more education. So this is the next step after that, where we want to go a bit broader once we've become a niche authority. Now, I hope you found that useful. If you did, hit the like button. And again, if you would like more help with this, you can join our free community, which I will link to in the video description. I'll see you in the next one.